Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Springfield Armory M1 mod, which is being made by quite the impressive list of modders. Frankly, far too many to name here, but check out the mod page. It's a great list of folk, many of whom we've featured mods from on this series in the past. And what they're looking to add into the game is the M1A Rifle, which I've been having so much fun with, and it just fits so beautifully into the Commonwealth, as not only is it a real-world Cold War designed weapon, which in my mind always makes it a welcome addition to the Fallout universe, but the M1A is actually the civilian version of the military M14 rifle, and that gun we have seen in the Fallout franchise in the past, specifically in Fallout Tactics. So finding the civilian version here in the Commonwealth just makes sense, and I love it. So let's jump on over here and take a look at what we do get with this particular mod. And the most standard version of the M1A rifle will deal 30 damage with a .308 round, with a firing rate of 40, range of 155, accuracy of 56, with a weight of 12.6. And as you can see here, it is a just beautifully made gun, some really truly awesome modeling with loads of details all over the place, and some great textures to match. Now I should mention, I'm personally using the 2K texture version of the mod. There is a 4K texture though if you are wanting higher fidelity textures for this. So always nice to have that option. Now as you can see over on the right hand side, we also do have a load of different modifications we can make for this thing, which is pretty cool. Now you're not going to be able to go wacky with this thing, turning it into some sort of like support machine gun. This is always going to be a rifleman's style rifle, but you've got some cool things in here for like attachments. There's some texture options you can change, and loads of different sights to really sort of customize this to your needs, which is always wonderful. Now, as for how you get this mod, it's a bit more complicated than typical. Usually we just download the mod, find the gun in the world, and we're good to go. This mod has options, and when you install it, you're going to get a UI element asking you how to integrate this thing into your game. Do you want to do it by quest? A quest which will unlock at level 25 and have you go out into the world to find the gun, and once you do, it'll unlock the level loot list integration as well as crafting recipes. There's then the normal option, which will do the level loot integration and crafting recipes without the mission, and then finally cheat, which is the same as normal, but it'll also give you a free copy of the weapon in your inventory. Now if you go the quest route, it's actually pretty easy. You're gonna get the Springfield Armory mission, which is just to find the M1A, and to do so you just have to head on over to the Nahant Chapel, and up top in the steeple you'll find a copy of the M1A just lying against the post there. Once you grab it though, you're gonna get another UI element asking you about the leveled loot list. Do you want it to be full integration, where you'll find it on traders from level 5 and enemies from level 25 and up? Or do you just want to go the trader route? Or do you want no level loot integration so that only you can make the gun? Now, there's another UI element after that I actually forgot to record, but basically it'll ask you if you want legendary integration, so if you'll find it on bosses after level 30, which is pretty cool to also have that option. But let's go take a look at how you do craft it once you've gone through all those steps, and you just gotta head to any crafting or chemistry station rather in the world, and head down to the weapons M1A category, where you can make this for a mere 8 aluminum, 10 gears, 13 plastic, 14 screws, 9 springs, and 7 steel, with as well rank 3 in gun nut. So between the questing, the material requirements, and the rank 3 gun nut, I'd say this puts it into a pretty solidly middle game gun, which isn't bad. It's around on par with the assault rifle that you'll find at the same time. And damage-wise, do keep in mind that this character I use for these episodes is a basic character without any damage modifying perks. So if you do things like Rifleman, you'll be able to up that damage, etc., which is pretty good. So you can really help up it to a better early late game weapon. Now, as for the modifications, let's turn on over here to the weapon workbench and take a look first at, of course, the receivers, which is the pretty typical things in here of either standard, light frame, heavy frame, on up to powerful, calibrated powerful, and advanced. We then have the barrel category, where we have the standard long ported and long vented to help with your range, accuracy, etc. We then have the stock category, where we have the standard full marksman and recoil compensating to help with your recoil, aiming, and whatnot. We then have in the magazine category either a standard or extended magazine, each of which having a quick eject version. Now, then after that, we have the sights category, and oh boy, we got options in here, and I always enjoy a lot of sights. We, of course, have the standard and glow, but we also have a Seymour sight, a Barska sight, an Aimpoint T1, T1 M2, T1 M3, a Sig Romeo XL, Sig Sauer Romeo 3, an EXP-S3, SRS-02, EOTech 552, Vortex ACOG Spectre DR, and Trijicon AccuPower? Is that how you say that? I don't know, but it's a lovely sniping scope. Now, what's really fun about a lot of these is that you'll notice it has 2 different placement options. So you could take this E-Point T1 M2 and either have it on the rail at the front of the weapon, or on a new rail placed over the bolt. So pretty nice that you can have that aesthetic option. It's going to have the same functionality either way, it's just where do you want it placed. So pretty nice, I do enjoy that. Next we have the muzzle category with either none, a standard muzzle, a flash hider, a compensator, muzzle brake, suppressor Gemtech, suppressor phantom, or a phantom with a cover. And after that, we have 2 different rail options for a left and right rail, and each of them have the same options of either nothing, a flashlight, or a laser sight. Now, if you do go the laser sight route, it'll then add in another option in here to ask you if you want the laser sight on or off, which is nice to give you that option. The flashlight, of course, will just be on from, you know, your Pip-Boy light, so that's how you'll control that. But very cool that you do get the option with the laser sight. Now next we have the materials category, where you can change the texture on this from the standard gray to a green, which still also looks very gray to me, but maybe I'm a little colorblind, who knows. And then we have tan, and finally, my personal favorite, wood. It just looks so beautiful. Ah, classic. And then after that, we have a damage modifier category, and you guys know my opinion on this. I never know how to feel about them. I typically don't like them because, well, it feels kind of cheaty to me. But hey, if you want to modify the damage and bump it up to 99% extra damage, have fun. I just wish there were some form of requirements to make it feel a little bit less cheaty. But nonetheless, with that plus 99%, it'll really help you keep this gun into the later game. Now that is it for the modification, so let's take a look at this thing in practice and start with our usual fire test. Now let's grab 2 modified versions I made, a sort of mid-range sniping version and a more close-range fast-firing version right here. And let's first take a look though at the standard and take some shots. As you can see, a very accurate and very good gun for keeping right on target. You can see not a whole lot of kick to this thing. It's very easily controllable, so you can really stay on your targets with this, which is pretty cool. And after I do get the reload here, pay attention to, if we just hip fire it, the very small lack of recoil on this thing. It's great for those sort of mid to long range shots and really keeping you on your enemy. Very easy to control, very nice. Now notice the animation, there is a little bit of odd pop-in from the Pip-Boy, but I don't think that's something the mod makers can actually fix. I think that's just an issue with the Pip-Boy, frankly. But a good, smooth animation for this thing. Now let's actually go to the sort of fast-firing support version because it has a different animation. And let's just fire 2 rounds real quick here. And notice we reload from the other side, and that's because this one is using the larger capacity magazine. The standard version was using just the standard short magazine, so you do seem to have the 2 options of animations between those 2 types of mags, which is pretty cool. Now this one going with the faster firing, oh god, what exactly one did I use for this? The hair trigger receiver. Its kick is a little bit more noticeable if we hit fire. Still not too bad though, and mainly because we have a much larger magazine is it a lot more noticeable in how much it really is recoiling, just because we have so many bullets to go through. But even with this higher recoil rate and faster firing rate on this one, it's still a very nice and easily controllable weapon with some really great accuracy, which I think is my favorite thing about this thing. It's just an easy to use weapon if you can actually hit the things. Me, I'm just an awful shot. So there we go. And of course, let's then go to the sniping version here and suppressed and listen to its shots too. So there we go, a good silenced sound, and overall a very nice, smooth firing gun for a sort of mid-range sniping weapon with the controllability of this thing. It's pretty darn good. You gotta love it. Now that of course means it's time to test these against our usual test subjects of Randy and Will, and let's use Will with this particular gun, then we'll go for with Randy with the close support version. Oh, Will, I'm so sorry, but as per usual, my friend, I bring you back from the dead to merely murder you again. Now, as always, do keep in mind that the Randy and Will mobs here are custom NPCs with some higher health than normal ones. And yeah, so 3 shots to take him down, and this was actually the highest damage I could get the gun to 81, and that is with using the damage modifier as well as the advanced receiver. So again, you're not going to be toting this thing around as a very, very super powerful weapon, but it's, you know, not too shabby in the slightest. Now let's of course go back to the hair triggered one and bring back good old Randy the Radstag. Oh Randy, I'm so sorry for this, but you must die once again for our testing. And 2 shots and he's down, and ooh boy, his head really flew on that one. But yes, this is the Springfield Armory M1A. It is a beautiful gun. I love that, yes, it is a historical weapon, and a weapon that at least in some form we have seen with its military counterpart in Fallout Tactics. And overall, it's just a cool mod. So if you'd like to check it out for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you can have a look at the link in the description as per usual. But that, my friends, is going to be it for today. I hope you all have enjoyed and that you do come back for the next. But until that time, thank you for watching. And as always, have a good one.